Level 1, Surf. You wake up before the sun, not because you want to, because you have to. The ground is cold, the air is damp. Your body is already tired from yesterday, but it doesn't matter. The work starts again. You step outside and look over the fields. None of it belongs to you. You are a serf, bound to this land, not by choice, but by birth. Your parents worked this same soil, you will too, and unless something changes, your children will follow you. Most of your week is spent working the Lord's land, plowing, planting, harvesting, whatever the season demands. The crops you grow there are not yours to keep. What's left, if there is anything left, you grow on a small strip for yourself. That is how you survive. You cannot leave without permission, not the village, not the land, not this life. Travel isn't an option. Opportunity isn't a concept. Even the smallest parts of your life are controlled. If you want to marry, you ask. If you want to move, you ask. If you want to change anything, you ask. And the answer is almost always no. You measure time differently here. You don't think in years or long-term plans. You think in seasons. Planting, harvest, winter, repeat. A bad harvest means hunger. A long winter means loss. There is no safety, no savings, no way to get ahead. Only enough to continue. You don't think about rising in society. That idea doesn't exist here. You think about making it through the week, through the season, through the year. Because at this level, life is not about building anything. It's about surviving what's already been decided for you. And yet, just beyond this land, there are people who are not bound like you are. They still struggle, but they have something you don't. A small amount of freedom. Level 2, Peasant. You wake up before sunrise, but this time the land in front of you is partly yours. Not all of it, never all of it, but enough that what you grow can feed your family if the season goes well. You are a peasant, a farmer who is not legally tied to the land. That is the difference. You can leave, in theory. In reality, leaving means risk. No land, no food, no guarantee of anything better. So most people stay. Your life still revolves around the fields. You plant, you harvest, you store what you can, but now a portion of what you grow belongs to you first. Then comes the rest. You still owe taxes to the Lord, a share of your crops, labor when required, payments to the church. By the time everything is taken, what remains is just enough to continue. A good harvest means stability. A bad harvest means debt, hunger, or worse. There are no safety nets, no insurance, no backup plan. Your home is simple. Wood, mud, thatch, built to last but not to protect you from everything. Your family works alongside you. Everyone contributes. Children learn early that survival depends on effort. There is a small sense of control here. You decide what to plant. You decide how to manage your land, but the outcome is never fully yours. Weather decides. The Lord decides. The church decides. You are free in a way the serf was not. But that freedom is fragile because at this level, life is no longer completely controlled. It is just uncertain. And somewhere beyond the fields, there are people who don't depend on land at all. They depend on something else, a skill, something they can carry with them wherever they go. Level 3, Skilled Worker. You wake up to the sound of tools, not fields. The work is still hard, the hours are still long, but your life is no longer tied to the land. You are a skilled worker, a blacksmith, a carpenter, a mason. Your income comes from what you can make, not what you can grow. That changes everything. You work inside a town now, a workshop instead of open fields. People come to you because they need something built, repaired, or created. A farmer needs tools. A merchant needs crates. A lord needs construction. Your hands produce value people are willing to pay for. You still work every day. But a bad season doesn't automatically destroy your livelihood. Demand for your skill continues regardless of weather. You trained for years to reach this level. Apprenticeship first, learning under someone else, watching, repeating, improving. Eventually, you earn the right to work on your own. Your reputation begins to matter. If your work is good, more people come. If it's not, they don't. That is the trade. You are not wealthy, but you are stable. You can earn, you can save. You can plan slightly further ahead than the next harvest. And for the first time, your future feels connected to your effort, not just your circumstances. But there is still a limit. No matter how skilled you become, your income depends on how much you can produce. Your time still defines your output. And beyond your workshop, there are people who don't rely on making things at all. They make money by moving things, goods, supplies, entire markets. And that is where the next level begins. Level 4, Merchant. You wake up in a different place than last month. Sometimes a town, sometimes a port, sometimes a road between the two. Your work is not tied to land or a workshop. It is tied to movement. You are a merchant, a trader of goods. You don't make products. You move them from where they are cheap to where they are valuable. Grain, cloth, tools, spices. You study prices, routes, and demand. You buy low, you sell higher. The difference is your profit. For the first time, your income is not limited by how many hours you can physically work. It is limited by your judgment. A good decision can multiply your money. A bad one can erase it. You take risks every time you move goods. Roads are dangerous. Theft is common. Weather can delay shipments. Markets can change before you arrive. There are no guarantees, but there is an opportunity. You begin to accumulate something new, capital, money that can be used to buy more goods, take larger positions, and expand your reach. You hire others to transport goods. You form relationships with suppliers. You learn which routes are reliable and which are not. Your world becomes larger. You are no longer tied to one place. Your reputation matters more than your strength or skill. If people trust you, they will trade with you. If they don't, they won't. You are not part of the nobility, but you are no longer invisible. Because at this level, wealth starts to separate from labor. And beyond this point, some people stop competing entirely. They begin to control the trade itself, prices, access, who is allowed to participate. That is where the next level begins. Level 5, Guild Master. You no longer compete in the market. You help control it. You are a guild master, the head of a trade organization that governs how business is done in your town. Blacksmiths, carpenters, weavers, merchants, every major trade has a guild, and your guild decides how that trade operates. You set standards, who can enter the profession, what quality is acceptable, how much goods can be produced, sometimes even the prices. No one works in your trade without approval. Apprentices train for years before they are allowed to operate independently. Masters earn their place through experience and reputation. You oversee all of it. Your income is no longer tied to your own production. It comes from your position inside the system, fees, influence, and access. You still understand the work. You came from it. But now your role is different. You enforce rules. You settle disputes. You protect the interests of your guild. Your influence extends across the entire town. Local leaders consult you. Merchants negotiate with you. Workers depend on your decisions. This is the first level where you are not just participating in the economy. You are shaping it. But there is a limit. Your authority exists because the town allows it. And the town exists because it is protected. Beyond the marketplace, beyond the workshops and trade routes, there is another kind of power. Not built on money, not built on skill, built on force. Because everything you control depends on someone willing to defend it. And that is where the next level begins. Level 6, Knight. You wake up to discipline, not uncertainty. Training begins early. It always does. You are a knight, a trained soldier who serves a lord in exchange for land, income, and status. Your life is built around one purpose, to fight. Years ago, you started as a squire, learning how to ride, how to handle weapons, how to follow orders. Now you carry armor, a sword, and the authority that comes with them. You are no longer part of the economy in the same way as everyone below. You do not farm, you do not trade, you do not produce goods, you enforce order. The land you oversee provides income. Peasants work it, taxes flow upward. That structure supports your position. In return, you provide protection from raiders, from rival lords, from anything that threatens the system. Your presence carries weight. When you enter a village, people notice. When you give an order, it is followed. That is power. But it is not your power. It belongs to the lord you serve. Your loyalty defines your position. Break it, and everything you have disappears. Your life is structured around duty, training, patrols, occasional conflict. Most days are quiet. Some days are not. And on those days, everything you've trained for is tested. You understand something clearly at this level. Power does not come from wealth alone. It comes from the ability to enforce decisions. But even that has a limit, because the land you protect, the people you oversee, and the authority you carry all belong to someone above you. Someone who doesn't fight, but controls everything you defend. That is where the next level begins. Level 7, Lord/Noble. You wake up inside stone walls, not to work, to decide. You are a lord, a noble who controls land, people, and the resources that come from both. Everything below you exists within your domain. Fields, villages, roads, markets. The peasants farm your land. The merchants pass through it. The knights defend it. And all of it flows upward to you. Your wealth is not something you earn day to day. It is something your land produces. Crops, taxes, labor. A portion of everything generated within your territory belongs to you. That is your income. You do not manage every detail. Others handle that. Stewards oversee the land. Knights enforce order. Guilds manage trade. Your role is higher than that. You make decisions that shape everything beneath you. How land is used. Who is granted rights. Where resources are directed. Your authority is recognized. People answer to you. Disputes come to you. Power is no longer something you perform. It is something you hold. But it is not absolute. Your position depends on something above you. A king. You owe loyalty, taxes, and military support when called upon. If that relationship breaks, your power can be challenged or removed. So even at this level, control has limits. Because while you rule your land, you do not rule the kingdom. And above every noble, there is one position that defines the entire system. One position that grants land, authority, and legitimacy to everyone below. That is where the final level begins. Level 8, King. You wake up with no one above you, at least no one inside the kingdom. You are the king, the ruler who holds ultimate authority over the land, the nobles, and the system itself. Every title below you exists because you allow it. Lords govern their lands because you grant them that right. Knights serve because they are called. Laws exist because you declare them. In theory, all land belongs to you. In practice, your power depends on something less visible: loyalty. The nobles must support you, the army must follow you. The system must continue to recognize your authority. You do not farm, you do not trade, you do not fight in every battle, you decide. War or peace, taxes or relief, who rises, who falls. Your decisions shape the entire kingdom. One order can move armies, one agreement can change alliances, one mistake can weaken everything. At this level, power is no longer physical, it is structural. You are not part of the system, you are the center of it. But even here, control is not absolute. A weak king loses influence. A divided kingdom creates instability. Power at the top is vast, but it is also fragile because the entire structure depends on balance between authority and loyalty, between control and support. And if that balance breaks, the system begins to shift. Not slowly, all at once. At every level below, people live inside the structure. At this level, you are responsible for holding it together.